Ladies and gentlemen, this is your comprehensive guide on how to solo the Terminus Easter egg in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Not only am I going to show you how to do every single step, but I'm going to give you lots of helpful tips throughout your game to make this a lot easier on yourself. Obviously, this is a solo guide, so you can do it on your own, but you can also do it with any number of players you want to. The steps are going to be totally the same. The difficulty balancing is going to be slightly different, but more or less the quest steps will work the exact same way. But I'm going to give you some helpful tips to complete this one because this map is certainly harder than the Liberty Falls Easter egg. If you haven't done that one, I'll have a link in the description to that Easter egg guide, but today we're going to be focusing on Terminus. One thing a lot of people don't focus on is augments and loadouts. What I'm going to recommend if you're soloing this Easter eggs especially is the Frenzied Guard field upgrade, run this ASG shotgun, and I would also put on a lot of good gobblegums if you have them. They are optional, obviously, but I would certainly put these on. Now, another thing people don't really talk about are augments. I'll show you what I have on. Augments are absolutely not necessary. You can do this entire Easter egg with no augments applied, but they are going to help you in some major and minor ways. But here's the augments that I have applied, and these seem to help out a lot. Now, if you're not yet comfortable with Terminus just as a map, you need to learn the flow and systems. I recommend watching my ultimate guide that will explain the layout of Terminus and how everything works, but this guide is assuming you know most of that stuff. The way we're going to begin our game is just like normal. We're going to start the 3 facility power generators and then going all the way down into the biolabs and then doing our third one here. These are pretty easy to do. This just essentially turns on power and opens up Pack-a-Punch, and we can actually go ahead and do our first Easter egg step right away. Once you have the Pack-a-Punch lift open, you can come over here and then put dead wire on one of your weapons. And once you've done that, you need to run the platform, so it needs to be in motion, and then as it's going up, there's going to be a broken window. You're going to start here and shoot a panel in the back that is going to be shocked by your dead wire bullets. It's then going to transfer to this panel right here. You're going to shoot it, and then it's going to transfer to the one all the way up top. It's just sort of this chain. The spark will be transferred from box to box, and then after you shoot it off the one from the Pack-a-Punch platform, you can come over to the Juggernog cabin, and then it will be inside right next to the actual power generator itself. You'll shoot that, it'll go to the other side of the wall, and then you can shoot it one last time, and that will open a secret door. The only thing you need to do in here right now is go ahead and shoot this unfortunate woman, and she's going to drop you a device. Once you grab this device, we can leave the barracks, go across the hallway here, and then into this guard tower room, and then there's going to be a briefcase sitting on a table with a severed hand attached to it. We should be able to open this up, and then the resonator is going to be inside that briefcase. We're going to grab that item, take it all the way back to the secret room, and then plug it into the computer. Now, we need to go around the map and activate a handful of computers that are sitting on these crates. The first one is going to be outside of Stamina Up. You can go ahead and activate this one. It should turn on. And then the next one is going to be just outside of the Quick Revive room located over here. Same procedure, just hold square or X on it, activate it. And then the third and final one will be around the corner of Deadshot, and it's actually lower than the guard tower. We're going to come all the way down this bridge, and then it should be located here over on your left. Once all 3 of those are on, you can either choose to do the actual math in order to get 3 digits, or you can just pay Dr. Peck 5K as a bribe, and he'll instantly give you the code. Now, if you actually want to do the manual solve, it's not too hard, honestly. All you have to do is essentially match the symbol to whatever your letter is on the left-hand side, and then derive a number for that. So, like, let's say X is just like the dark circle with a white circle underneath it. If that happens to be X on your board, then you just look at where it's placed, and let's say it's 2 and 2, and then you would have 22 there. And you just find the values for each of the 3 letters, and then you plug them into the equation on the right board, and then you should end up getting 3 numbers as a result, and then you can go ahead and plug that in. It might take you slightly more time to do it this way, but if you don't want to do the manual math, you can just simply go up to Dr. Peck near the spawn room and give him a bribe of 5K, and then the code will be instantly displayed on the computer. So either way you want to do it, you just want to obtain these 3 digits, and then you can enter them into this computer, and upon completing it, now you need to flip the round. As soon as that flips, the resonator on top of the computer should become available, and then a spot on the map is going to get highlighted, and I'm going to show you exactly where to go. You're going to need to grab a boat and then go all the way sort of to the right side of the island if you're looking from a top-down view, and then on this sort of like cliffside here, this edge, shore, there's going to be this blue orb. You're going to go up to it and put the resonator on the underside of it, just interact, and then at this point, the resonator will begin to shock zombies, and then they will be this special glowing blue color. When you kill them, they're going to drop some energy, and then you can go ahead and interact and hold square and pick one of these energy balls up, and then just walk it into the orb. And you need to do this like 2 or 3 times, really not too hard. And then once that orb moves to the next island, we're going to move and follow it. Now, don't forget to pick up your resonator off the beach after you've completed a single orb, but we're going to grab it and then head to the next one. This should be a green orb, but once again, exact same procedure. Simply place the resonator down, get zombie kills, bring the essence to the orb, and then eventually that one will also fly away. We're going to grab our boat one last time and then head all the way over to the left side of the island, and then on this side, we're actually going to see ourselves a purple orb here, and this was probably the hardest one, but maybe just slightly more difficult than the other two. You shouldn't have really any trouble with this, and it only takes like actually 1 or 2 orbs as far as I can tell. This one's very quick, but once you get that one done, you should be given this kind of amp canister, and once you've obtained that item, you're actually ready to go ahead and build the Beamsmasher. We can head back to the secret room we opened up and then put this together, and then we now have the map's wonder weapon. Technically, you can skip all of this if you get it out of the box, but it's unbelievably rare, and I just don't recommend it. It's not too hard to go through this process and then get a guaranteed wonder weapon. Plus, it's kind of fun to learn how to do. But either way, now we can continue on with the main quest. So now we need to get a hard drive, and the way to acquire this is we need to shoot a tentacle trap in one of 3 locations. We need to use the Beamsmasher and shoot the regular beam into the center mouth of one of these traps. Now, I guess it's random every single game, but the first one is here at Juggernog. If this doesn't drop you a hard drive after shooting it with the Beamsmasher, you can move on to the next one. The other 2 traps are in the Pack-a-Punch room, and they're very close to each other, so you can come down here sort of by the original platform, open up this door, and then try your Beamsmasher here. If that doesn't work, then you can go over to the other side of the platform, and then there will be another door to the caves that will have yet another trap, and that one should have your hard drive. Once you've picked up that item, we can return it upstairs to Dr. Peck, and then this will actually begin a mini boss fight in just a second, but we'll go ahead and give them that and then head downstairs, and now we need a 3-digit code. Luckily, you can do this right after giving the hard drive to Dr. Peck. You can go to the right side here in this small room and look behind this barrier. There's going to be a clock, and this will be different every single game, but you just want to take a single digit from whatever the hour hand is on. So literally ignore the minute hand, just whatever number that the hour hand is pointing to will be your digit. Now, let's say for me that's 3 because that's what it was on my clock. Then I'm going to go over here down to the mess hall, and then there's going to be a playing card on this board, and that will also give you another digit. So just take that and put it in order. You have, let's say, 3, and then I had 3 here as well. And then finally, we're going to run through the barracks, come over into the engineering room, and then there's going to be some kind of number on this poster. And for me, it was 6. That will be my last number. It'll probably be different in your game, but those are the order you want to put them in as well. Now, when you head downstairs into the bio lab, in the center of the room is going to be Maya's brother, Nathan, and he's locked, obviously, in this chamber. You need to go up to the keypad and interact with it, and then enter the 3 digits that you required from those 3 things. And once that's been accepted, you can turn one of the valves, and this will begin a mini boss fight. Now, I will say, don't underestimate this. Be kind of prepared, because it's certainly stronger than a regular amalgamation, and they're pretty damn tough, so you really want to be pretty careful during this, and I would say keep your distance for sure. Make sure you have, like, perks, Pack-a-Punch, etc. Just don't go into this underprepared, otherwise you will pay for it. But after defeating Nathan in this mini boss fight, you'll be given a cutscene. Now, I won't play all of it. I'll just let you guys experience it in game. The story stuff in this map is absolutely crazy, but after the cutscene plays, we can jump into the water here, and then we're going to pick up Nathan's keycard. It's pretty little, like it's a fairly small item, so just make sure you're paying attention. It's kind of deep underwater, but you should be able to find it. It's glowing yellow, and once you've picked up the keycard, now would be another good time to kind of stock up and maybe upgrade guns, prepare your armor, and so on, because now we can go back down under the guard tower, grab another boat, and then head out to the shipwreck. Once we get here, we want to go under the boat, and there's going to be a ladder, and then assuming we have the keycard here, we climb up the ladder. This little door here will automatically open, and we can access the inside of this boat. You want to grab one of these items, these kind of like valves off the thing, and then immediately it's going to begin a lockdown. And I recommend just sitting in the corner for this and just defending from here. It's not too bad on solo, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not horrible, so you just need to make sure you don't panic, and it's about, I don't know, a minute long. But after this is done, the floor will open back up, allowing you to escape, but you won't be able to sprint while holding these valves. So you want to come out and then get on your boats. And then now we're going to be looking for 2 out of 3 missing locations. And luckily, they're all pretty close together. So as soon as you leave the boat, you can come over to this island and you can see on the edge here, if this kind of pipe canister is missing a center, then you need to go place one of these in. In my game, it was there, so I didn't need to worry about it. But that's the first location. The second one, you're just going to go straight forward towards the main island. And then once you get to the shore here, you can jump out and then head all the way just directly under the guard tower. And for me, that was a missing one. So I can go ahead and place the canister that I got from the thing on there. And then that will be the first one completed. And then we need to go back to the ship to grab the second one because you can only hold one at a time. But we're going to take the exact same route back to the island that we just did. And then the third and final one is going to be inside of the Speed Cola mining tunnel. We're going to hang right, and then all the way on this side will be the final pipe that should be missing a kind of valve here. So right when that last valve is completed, if you're playing solo, this is where I'm going to advise that you spend all of your scrap and build 2 monkey bombs right now. Just trust me, it will be handy later. Build 2 monkey bombs as soon as you're done with the valves, and then we can go to our next step. You're going to get some dialogue, and we can head back to the spawn section of the map and go up to Dr. Peck. Samantha's going to talk a little bit, and then she's going to give you a hacker device. You're going to pick this up, and then we can immediately jump back into the water, and we need to hack 3 buoys around the map. This is pretty easy as well. It doesn't sound as hard as it might look. You just need to grab a boat and then follow this exact route that I go. We're going to head out, and then the first buoy is just going to be in between these 2 small section islands. You're just going to jump out of your boat and then go up to it and then hold your interact, and then you should just be able to hack the buoy. Now, as soon as you do the first one, you're going to get a time limit of about 1.5 minutes to finish the next 2. So we're going to get back in our boat, and then we're going to head all the way, to the north side of the island through the water, and then there should be another buoy shortly thereafter. You're going to find it. It's going to be glowing and flashing. Exact same procedure. Hop out, hack it, and then get back in. And then we're going to wrap around all the way to the west side of the island, and then there's going to be the final buoy here very close to the original shipwreck, and then we're going to hack that third and final one. And as soon as that's done, Dr. Modi is now going to pull the ace up her sleeve, and then she's going to have a set of 3 detonators in the main biolab area. You need to defuse these before the time limit, otherwise it's game over. Now, the way to do this is to use monkey bombs, especially solo, because these doors will open up, and I'm going to show you where all of these detonators are to defuse them, and you're going to want to throw a monkey just before you defuse them. It should buy you just enough time to defuse it and then get the hell out of there. You can stay across this wall. They're all pretty close together, and then one of them is just on the upper floor, and then same procedure, throw a monkey, disable the bomb, and then you're good to go. Now, you may need to craft an additional monkey bomb while you're in this, so if you have extra scrap, I recommend it putting towards this. Otherwise, you might just have to sacrifice like a field upgrade, like your frenzied guard, or even just giving up a self-revive. It's not recommended, but you just want to do anything you have up your sleeve to be safe. Maybe even a nuke would help if you have that as a gobblegum, but either way, you just want to disable all the bombs immediately because you have no time to waste. If these blow up, it's game over. I cannot stress that enough. Now, if you successfully disable the bombs, technically you now have access to the boss fight through this now opened door. However, like I said with Liberty Falls, if you're at like round 15 to 20 or even 23, I would say you need to push a little higher to make sure that you have absolutely everything. Liberty Falls, even you can get away with having slightly less stuff, but you still got to be kind of strapped for that. Terminus, though, is no joke because we're going to be fighting a very formidable foe, and so I'm going to recommend you push to at least like round 30, maybe even 35 if you really need it, just to get everything you need. Get all of your perks, make sure that you have a legendary tier 3 pack-a-punched weapon, preferably this shotgun, and you can have the Beamsmasher, although I'm going to be honest, you won't really need it during the boss fight. It's not going to be particularly useful. It'll just be good if you are shooting at a range, which some of the enemies in this boss fight are ranged. So it's not too bad, but this shotgun is really going to be what you're dependent on. Chopper gunners are amazing here. I would bring those in, and you can use these and be very clutch. Otherwise, mutant injections are pretty useless here. I wouldn't recommend them. Once you've got everything tier 3 and legendary, you can hop into this boss fight when you're prepared enough, and then as we begin, we're going to be fighting Patient 13. You're going to get a small intro cutscene, and now we're fighting off against this giant kraken. So what I'm going to recommend here as far as strategy is you only have 2 attacks you really need to look out for. You just want to react and respond to what the boss is doing. Don't rush anything. There's really, no time limit. When the boss does an overhead slam, you just want to be on the sides of it. You're pretty safe there. When the boss does a slam sweep, you just want to make sure you're either completely spaced out in the back of the arena or completely at its side on these docks where it can't hit you. You just need to react and respond to the moves because otherwise it can't really damage you. The only other thing that can hurt you in this boss fight are zombies and these tentacles that will occasionally shoot you from outside the map. This is where your Beamsmasher comes in handy because you can shoot these tentacles with your Beamsmasher to kind of suppress them. You're not going to do a ton of damage. Mostly, you're going to get the vast majority of your damage through shooting these red bubble weak spots with your shotgun. Get as close as you can, shoot as quickly as you can, and you should deal an insane amount of damage. In phase 1, you should pass it very quickly, and then in phase 2, he's going to buff up a little bit. His moves are going to get stronger, and you need to be a little bit careful of that, and then his weak spot will actually move to the center of his mouth. Shouldn't be too bad to deal with. Phase 3, he does get a wipe attack, but as long as you're completely underwater or you're at the very back of the arena behind crates, you shouldn't die from this. And the nice thing is that the weak spot is just his head, and he'll take a ton of damage from this. So passing stage 1, 2, and 3 shouldn't be too much of a challenge as long as you're, being careful and paying attention. If you get into a pinch, you could pop your chopper gunner and go, invulnerable momentarily. If you do get hit by the Kraken, he may knock you out of your chopper gunner, so I recommend using it in the back of the arena if possible. Another thing you can do is also just dive into the water if you're ever feeling pressured or need to, avoid taking damage. That's a pretty good strategy as well. But otherwise, it's honestly not that hard of a solo boss fight, and you should be just fine. Now, I'm going to that's the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want to spoil too much of this. I'm going to let you watch the cutscene for yourselves when you beat it, but when you complete this boss fight, that will be the end, and then you'll be given the cutscene and the rewards and all of the accolades that come with it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this did help. I really do appreciate you watching. Thank you for your time. Make sure to subscribe before you guys go and leave a like on the video if it helped you, and subscribe for more Easter egg guides. I'll see y'all soon.